The concept of the Imperium and the Emperor is a central theme in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The Imperium is a vast human empire spanning across the galaxy, and the Emperor is its leader. The Emperor is revered as a godlike figure by the people of the Imperium and is believed to possess divine powers. He is seen as the founder of the Imperium, and his leadership is seen as crucial for its survival. The Imperium is a brutal, totalitarian regime that exerts control over its subjects through the use of force and propaganda. The Imperium's government is a highly centralized bureaucracy that is dominated by the Adeptus Terra, which is the center of power for the Imperium. The Adeptus Terra is responsible for the administration of the Imperium and is home to many powerful organizations, including the Space Marines and the Inquisition. The Emperor is portrayed as a wise and just leader who is deeply committed to the preservation of humanity. Despite this, he is often depicted as a remote and distant figure who is largely inaccessible to the people of the Imperium. This creates a sense of reverence and awe around him, as well as a sense of isolation and disconnection from the subjects he rules over. Religion and spirituality play a significant role in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The Imperium of Man is dominated by the imperial cult, a state religion that worships the Emperor as a god. The imperial cult is based on the belief that the Emperor's divine spirit guides humanity, and that his immense psychic power protects the Imperium from the dangers of the warp. This belief gives the Imperium a unifying religious iconography and provides a moral foundation for its people, but also encourages blind devotion to the Imperium's authority. Beyond the Imperium, the Warhammer 40,000 universe is home to a wide variety of religious and spiritual beliefs. The Eldar have a highly developed pantheon of gods and goddesses that they worship in elaborate rituals, while the Orcs believe in the power of the Waak, a unifying spiritual energy that drives their entire species. The Necrons worship the Tan, ancient and powerful beings that they believe will lead them to immortality. Religion also affects the political and military power structures of the various factions. For example, the Adeptus Ministorum, the clergy of the imperial cult, hold significant power and influence within the Imperium, while the Space Marine chapters often have their own spiritual beliefs and practices that influence their behavior and tactics. Overall, the role of religion and spirituality in the Warhammer 40,000 universe adds depth and complexity to its setting, and helps to distinguish the various factions and races from each other. The theme of war and conflict is a central aspect of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It is a brutal and unrelenting setting where armies of various factions and races are constantly engaged in conflict for control of territory, resources, and ideologies. The universe is plagued by ongoing wars and battle, with various races vying for power and resources. The theme of war is reflected in the various factions and their motivations, as well as the technologies and weapons they employ in battle. The concept of total war is also a key aspect of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where entire worlds and populations are brought under siege and attacked, often with the intent of completely destroying the enemy. The stakes are high and the battles are often fought to the death, with no mercy given or received. The grim nature of war and the extreme violence it entails is a recurring theme throughout the franchise, and is depicted in the various depictions of battle and warfare that are central to the Warhammer 40K setting. The portrayal of humanity and human nature in the Warhammer 40,000 universe is complex and multi-layered. On one hand, humanity is depicted as a noble and resilient species that has overcome numerous challenges and obstacles in its long history. On the other hand, humanity is also portrayed as being deeply flawed, with a tendency towards violence, greed, and self-destruction. In this universe, humanity is depicted as being caught in a never-ending cycle of war and conflict, driven by its own ambition, pride, and fear. Many of the factions within the Warhammer 40,000 universe are depicted as being willing to engage in brutal and devastating wars in order to gain power, territory, or resources. At the same time, humanity is also depicted as being capable of incredible acts of heroism and sacrifice, as well as having the ability to come together in times of great crisis. In terms of human nature, the Warhammer 40,000 universe explores the darker side of humanity, including the thirst for power, the need for control, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. It also examines the impact of technological advancements on the human psyche and the potential dangers of relying too heavily on technology. Overall, the portrayal of humanity in the Warhammer 40,000 universe is complex and nuanced, offering both a critique and a celebration of what it means to be human. The use of advanced technology and science fiction elements is a key aspect of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The universe is set in a future where humanity has advanced its technology to the point of being able to travel through space, terraform entire planets, and create armies of powerful machines and genetically engineered super soldiers. The Imperium of Man, the dominant human faction in the universe, relies heavily on technology for its military and societal needs. This includes things like powered armor for soldiers, cybernetically enhanced humans, giant war machines, and massive warships capable of traversing the void of space. However, the use of technology in the Warhammer 40,000 universe is not always seen as a positive thing. The Imperium, for example, is depicted as being tyrannical and oppressive, with its ruling class relying heavily on technological control to maintain their power. This includes things like mind control, propaganda, and cybernetic implants that are used to control the masses. At the same time, other factions in the universe reject technology altogether, instead relying on more primitive methods of warfare and societal organization. Overall, the use of advanced technology and science fiction elements in the Warhammer 40,000 universe helps to create a rich and varied setting that is both familiar and exotic at the same time. It is one of the key factors that has helped to make the franchise so popular and enduring over the years. In the Warhammer 40,000 universe, the relationship between humans and other races is complex and often hostile. The Imperium of Man, which is the dominant human political entity, sees itself as the rightful rulers of the galaxy and seeks to conquer and subjugate other races. However, many of these other races view humans as aggressive and expansionist, and resist their attempts at domination. There are several non-human races in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, each with their own unique characteristics, cultures, and motivations. Some of the most notable races include the Eldar, a highly advanced and technologically advanced race of psychic beings, the Orcs, a brutal and warlike race of green-skinned monsters, and the Chaos Space Marines, former Space Marines who have turned to worshipping the Chaos Gods. The relationships between these races are often hostile, with each vying for power and control over the galaxy. Some races, such as the Eldar and the Imperium, have a more complicated relationship, with a mixture of cooperation and conflict. Others, such as the Orcs, are purely hostile and seek to conquer and destroy all other races. Despite these conflicts, alliances and temporary truces are formed between races from time to time, usually in response to a common threat. One such example is the formation of the Imperium Eldar Alliance during the 13th Black Crusade to fight against the forces of chaos. These relationships, however, are often fragile and can break down just as quickly as they are formed. The concept of the supernatural and the paranormal plays a significant role in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The setting is filled with numerous entities and forces that exist beyond the realm of physical reality. These include powerful psychic entities such as demons, spirits, and the powers of the warp, as well as entities with paranormal abilities like psychers and rogue traders. The universe is also filled with numerous legends and myths of ancient, powerful beings and creatures such as the Tan, Old Ones, and Necrons. These entities possess abilities beyond what is considered normal for most races, and their existence is often shrouded in mystery. Religion and spirituality also play a significant role in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, with many factions having their own beliefs and ideologies. The Imperium of Man, for example, is based on the worship of the Emperor as a deity, and their faith is intertwined with their politics and society. Meanwhile, the Chaos factions worship the dark gods of the warp and often use their powers to manipulate reality to their own ends. The concept of the supernatural and the paranormal in the Warhammer 40,000 universe adds to the setting's grim and dark tone, creating a sense of mystery and fear for the unknown. It also provides opportunities for unique and imaginative story elements, such as the use of psychers in battle and the existence of powerful entities and beings that can influence the outcome of events. In the Warhammer 40,000 universe, the themes of power, politics, and control are central to many of the storylines and events. The Imperium of Man, the largest and most powerful human empire in the galaxy, is ruled by the Emperor, who is both a powerful psyker and the spiritual leader of humanity. The Imperium is comprised of thousands of different worlds, each with its own unique political and social structures, but all of them are ultimately controlled by the Imperium through the use of its military and administrative organizations. Power is the primary means of control in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and many factions and organizations, both within and outside of the Imperium, are vying for it. The Space Marines, one of the most powerful military organizations in the universe, are tasked with defending the Imperium and maintaining its power, while other factions, such as the Chaos Space Marines, seek to undermine and destroy it. Politics is also a major theme in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, as various factions compete for resources, territory, and power. The Imperium, for example, is often portrayed as a highly bureaucratic and centralized organization, with numerous factions and organizations competing for power and influence within its structure. This competition can sometimes lead to civil wars and other conflicts, both within and outside of the Imperium. In the Warhammer 40,000 universe, the concept of control is closely tied to the themes of power and politics. The Imperium, for example, is characterized by its strict control over the lives of its citizens, including their thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. The Imperium's use of propaganda, censorship, and surveillance is meant to maintain its control over its citizens, while also ensuring that they are guided by the Emperor's vision and ideology. In conclusion, the themes of power, politics, and control play a significant role in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, shaping the relationships and interactions between the various factions and organizations, and influencing the events and conflicts that occur within it. In the Warhammer 40,000 universe, the concept of good and evil is portrayed in a complex and nuanced manner. On one hand, the Imperium of Man is depicted as being a force for good, fighting against the numerous threats to humanity that exist in the galaxy. The Emperor is seen as the ultimate embodiment of this struggle, having given up his physical form to preserve humanity against the forces of chaos. On the other hand, the Imperium is portrayed as a ruthless and oppressive regime, often using extreme measures to maintain order and control over its subjects. The Inquisition, for example, is a shadowy organization that operates outside of the law and uses extreme violence and torture to root out dissent and heresy. Additionally, the Imperium is depicted as being a deeply racist and xenophobic society, where non-human species are often viewed with suspicion and mistrust. Similarly, the depiction of the forces of chaos is complex, with some characters being portrayed as evil, while others are seen as being misunderstood or corrupted by the chaos gods. The forces of chaos are often depicted as being chaotic and unpredictable, and their motivations and goals are often shrouded in mystery. In conclusion, the Warhammer 40,000 universe portrays good and evil as being relative concepts, and it often explores the consequences of unchecked power, control, and the abuse of authority. The portrayal of good and evil is a central theme in the franchise, and it is explored through the various factions and characters that exist in the universe. The exploration of morality and ethics in a dystopian setting is a significant theme in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The Imperium of Man is depicted as a totalitarian and oppressive regime, where the ruling elites enforce their moral and ethical code through brutal force and control. However, this code of ethics and morality is often questioned and challenged by the various factions and races within the Imperium, leading to a constant struggle for power and control in this universe. There are no easy answers to questions of morality and ethics, and characters are often faced with difficult decisions that can lead to ethical dilemmas. For example, the Space Marines, who are depicted as noble and heroic warriors, may be tasked with carrying out orders that go against their own moral codes. Additionally, the Imperium's ruling classes must justify their actions and the means by which they maintain control, leading to conflicts and debates over what constitutes right and wrong. Moreover, the Warhammer 40,000 universe also explores the idea that absolute power corrupts absolutely, where those in power can easily become corrupted and fall to their baser instincts. The Imperium's ruling classes, for example, are depicted as being motivated by a desire for power and control, rather than a desire to help humanity. This theme of power and control creates an interesting backdrop for discussions on ethics and morality, and highlights the importance of examining one's own beliefs and values in such a setting.